We are back with more severe weather. This will be the final video update. So first thing we need to talk about, why did it refresh, is the enhanced risk. It's a very large, decently large, not very large, very decently big area. It is a level 3 out of 5, and let me make sure I'm saying that right. It means that we have high confidence that several storms will contain damaging winds, large hail, and a couple tornadoes. So this includes Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Minnesota, Madison, Wisconsin, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. The slight risk still includes Detroit, Indianapolis, Columbus, well actually Columbus is new, Cleveland, and Minneapolis. Columbus has just been added, and actually Cleveland was too. Looking at the tornado risk, you can see we've got this pretty decently large 5% area, including Milwaukee, Madison, Racine, Appleton, and Waukesha in Wisconsin. We've got a very large 5% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of point, including Chicago, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Toledo, and Cincinnati. That 10%, because it's hatched, it doesn't always happen, means that there is a 10% probability of there being an EF2 or stronger tornado, and the National Weather Service in Milwaukee has already said that. So if you want to check them out, you could go to weather.cod.edu. The wind threat in the enhanced risk, this is mostly what's driving that large enhanced risk, it's just a 30% risk, so it's not really destructive winds. It's more damaging winds. Then 15% for all of you in the slight risk, because that's a large area. Hail now, we have an interesting map. It's hatched, so that means destructive hail in part of the 15% risk. So Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Madison, Grand Rapids, you all have a 30% probability of 2-inch or greater hail, so destructive hail. But then we also have Indianapolis, Minneapolis, St. Paul. You're all in, including even down here, you're all in another risk, but it's 15% probability of destructive. So it's not as strong. If we were to just quickly look at this, Illinois, they are citing supercells can produce large hail. I crossed that out. A couple tornadoes, and a few damaging wind gusts. Wisconsin, we are really talking about you. So there's a surface low. We have very strong dew points, very moist air. We have very high CAPE, which I am going to go into now. So this is the HRRR. It's a decently accurate model. This is 4 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. If we look at it, storms really don't form until 23Z or 6 p.m. So if we were to look at that ML CAPE again, you could see in Chicago there's 2370 ML CAPE, Milwaukee 2320, Indianapolis you got 4,000. Anything above 1,500 can cause severe storms. And looking at the supercell composite, Chicago is kind of in that gray area. I do think that's a mistake. Milwaukee, you're also a little lower than what they're saying. That might just be a mistake on the HRRR, but Indianapolis also, actually they have a way higher risk than us. And you can see at the significant tornado parameter, anything above 1, we need will mean tornadoes. This model I don't really like right now. I don't think it's really going as to what the Storm Prediction Center says. But this is NAMNST, which is a high-resolution version of the North American Mesoscale model. This is 4 p.m. again. You can see storms would hit Milwaukee, you guys around 23Z or 6 p.m. and Chicago between 7 and 8 p.m. And if we were to look at that ML CAPE again, it's strong here in Chicago. It's 3,600. Milwaukee, it's a little weaker. That might also be a glitch. Indianapolis, you're ranging around the 3,000s, almost 4,000s, but Indianapolis is going to get hit a little later. So you guys might actually dodge it, maybe even until about 11 o'clock. We have a lower number. But even here, you can see the supercell composite is a lot higher, especially for Chicago and the Milwaukee area. Same with significant tornado parameter, it's a little greater. I'm going to quickly go into soundings, which kind of more break down the threat. This is for Chicago O'Hare. The first thing we see is that very high most unstable CAPE, which matches with that surface-based CAPE. There's a very strong threat, at least so we see. They are highlighting a tornado for a possible threat. And then if you look at this is a hodograph. It shows wind speeds as they change with height. It's got this kind of right-moving curvature, which does sometimes signal supercell thunderstorms. And here, this is a box and whiskers plot. So it places the SIN significant tornado parameter, which is capping based on it. We have generally very low. We have 0 on surface and most unstable, and -10 on the mean layer. You can see it even highlights one significant tornado, a weak tornado, which can get concerning. It says 67% chance of a tornado, which is relatively high, and a 69% chance of significant hail, which is what we're seeing, at least what they're saying. And you can see there's an above 50% chance right now of an EF3 at about Chicago O'Hare. It could change. This model isn't as accurate, but it is very accurate for this far out, this being just about 24 hours out. If we were to look at Milwaukee, you guys, it says marginal severe, which I don't really agree with, and I don't like this, because it says you have no significant tornado parameter, which does go against that 10% chance of a tornado. So I don't really like it. And I see this model does highlight significant tornadoes with a 61% chance of a tornado. So I think that might be a glitch with capping. This model sometimes does have that. There's a weak tornado possible that shows on the supercell. 80% chance of a significant hail. That again is very similar to what we were seeing before on the model. Indianapolis, you've got kind of a right moving. I don't really know how you would classify this because it's very everywhere. One significant tornado was flagged. 3 weak. So 64% chance of a tornado over at you in Minneapolis. 58% chance of significant hail. You've got about, looking here, around a 50% chance of an EF2. But then again, this model does have issues with something like this, so it's sometimes greater, it's sometimes lower, it just depends. Indianapolis, you can see lower Cape. This is for the Indianapolis airport. All of these are ordered for the airports. So, not too much to say with Indianapolis. I want to go back to Chicago again. You can see we have this 64,000. Usually anything above 20,000 is bad. And then again, 46,000 in Milwaukee, 54,000 in Indianapolis. So there is some threat. And what is causing this is, this is 1 a.m. Thursday. You can see we kind of have these low pressure systems. You can see the warm front right there moves up, and then a cold front that will trigger the storms. And then, so they are talking about supercell storms, which can cause tornadoes, but that's all the information we have right now. Please consider subscribing. I might release a short tomorrow afternoon with the final update.